Welcome back to my channel, Laurie R Creations. I'm Laurie. I'm here today, as promised, to show you how to do a couple of different Christmas tree ornaments. We're going to be using the plastic clear Christmas tree ornament balls that you get from the Dollar Tree. I'm using the size that comes in the 2-pack, so they're the smaller ones. You can probably use the bigger ones, but they're only $1 for each one. So for me, it was more economical to get to 2-pack. Today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing these really cute Rae Dunn inspired Christmas tree balls. They're all over the internet and all the rage, and so they are so easy to make. So this is my version, and I'm just showing you how I made mine. I'm going to be using black and white paint because my tree and my decorations in my home this year are going to be black and white. The other ornament that I'm going to show you how to do is this really cute buffalo check tree ball. And I got this idea from, I went to Hobby Lobby and they had a packet of these, like 6, I think there were 6 in the packet, and they're buffalo check. And of course the black and white is my design choice this year. So I want to show you how to make these. They're pretty easy. They take a little bit more time than these do. So we're going to start with those. And again, like I said, what you're going to need for those are the 2-pack, the smaller plastic Christmas tree balls that you get at Dollar Tree. And you're going to need to have also some type of ribbon for your hanger. You can get that at Dollar Tree as well. This is a 5/8 inch ribbon, which is what I use to make the little bows. What I use to make my loops is that wide Halloween ribbon that I got, that black and white, and I just cut down the middle of it. So my white balls will have black ribbon and my black balls will have the white ribbon. The other design choice that you can use for a hanger is just to leave what's on there and then decorate it really simply with a buffalo check ribbon. And that's what I'm going to do today for that one. Okay. The other thing you're going to want to have is a printout. Now you can go online and download this tall, skinny font, or the skinny font, I'm sorry. I actually downloaded this for free, and then I sized it to 100 on my font size, and that made it perfect for the lettering for my balls. Now I don't have a Cricut machine, so what I am going to be doing is freehanding this. Now if you're not real comfortable freehanding, maybe do some practice runs trying to follow along with your printout. Or if you have a Cricut, you can print these out and just stick them on. So I don't have it, like I said, so I'm going to be doing it free-handed. The other thing I want to show you, a little trick that I learned by doing these, is I recycle water bottles. And so what I did was I took a water bottle and I cut the bottom part off and the top part off, and I left the lid on because when my ball is draining, it can sit in this top part and all the paint will drain into this lid and I can reuse this paint. And so while it's draining, I set it in this little bottom part and it keeps it upright so that everything drains. Then once my paint is all drained, which usually takes a couple of hours or so, then I'll take this ball out of here and I'll just set it right in there so that it can dry. This kind of holds it so tightly that it doesn't have a chance to dry. All this is for, this top part, is so that it has something to drain in, and then I can reuse this paint on another ball. So I just like to give you that little tip. A lot of people have been using egg crates or cut off paper towel rolls or toilet paper rolls cut up like in little circles like this, but I want to recycle my paint. To me, my paint is a commodity, a valuable commodity. Okay. So now we're going to get started. I'm going to show you how to do this one first because it's the easiest one, and then we'll move along to my little buffalo check balls. So what you're going to do is you're going to remove your Christmas tree topper hanger part, put that aside, and then, like I have here one already going, then what you're going to do is you're going to take whatever color paint. You can use whatever color paint you want. Of course, you know me, I've got my black and white here. And then you just squirt a little paint in there. Okay. then just let gravity do its thing and just coat the entire inside of the ball. So this is probably even a cool craft to have little kids help you with. I don't have my grandkids here at the time, so it's all me. And shaking it sometimes will help the paint to move around, especially if you get little spots that don't have paint. You just start letting gravity go that way and it'll fill in. And trust me, it takes probably a couple minutes to get this coated on the inside. And then what you do is you just place it upside down in your little collector, reservoir, I guess we're going to call it. And when all the paint drips out, then I'll take this paint and I'll pour it back in my bottle. Now, one thing I do want to say is make sure your water bottles are dried out, because you don't want to have any water in your paint. Okay? So when you have all this coated and you're letting it drain, once it's all, the paint is out, then you take it out so that you can let it dry. You want it to dry completely. You don't want any wet, funky, moldy stuff going on in your ball. So I would give it a day, like overnight maybe, and then you can go to the next step. But if you're going to do a lot of these, sit down and do all the painting all at one time. That way, overnight, they dry, the next day they're ready, and you can just hit the ground running. Okay, so we're going to decorate this guy. And one thing about these balls too, you have to remember there are seams because they are plastic. There's a seam that runs all the way around the middle of the ball. So what you want to do is when you're doing your lettering, you want to do it in between the seams, okay? What I'm going to be doing today is Noel, and I'm using a black Sharpie for my white balls, and I'm using a white permanent chalk marker for my black balls, okay? And let's see, we're going to do Noel. So I got to find the seam on the sides, and I'm going to go right directly in the middle with this. Take this lid off here. All right. So I'm looking at my letters. I have my letters down below here. So I'm just going to follow along freehanded. I know there's some people that are nervous wreck about this part of the process, but trust me, it's part of the charm of handmade ornaments. They're not going to be perfect. They're not store-bought. So don't sweat it. And I just want to encourage people to get out and use their creativity. Come on. You got it. Okay. Okay. Now, like right there, I kind of made a little mistake. So what I want to do is take a little bit of this rubbing alcohol on a paper towel. And then I'm just going to wipe away where I've made the mistake. See? Easy peasy. So see, even if you're not comfortable doing this, I'm going to try to dry it off there. Even if you're not comfortable doing it, so you can erase. You could even do it with the black marker, believe it or not. I've done it with the black marker, okay? So I want to fix this. I'm going to go down, do my little L, and then I'm going to do my O over here. And the one thing about the Rae Dunn is that they're just skinny, tall letters. They're just long and dried out. So, you know, even if you don't do it exactly the same, it will still look pretty cool. There we go. There's our Noel. Easy peasy. Look at that. And like I said, you can use any kind of ribbon. You could probably use jute. Even with the buffalo check, that would be even cool to use jute with this. I'm just going to leave this ball as is with the little silver hanger that came with it because I think it looks good together. And that's it. That's all there is to that ornament. Moving on. Okay, now we're going to do this little buffalo check guy. And what you're going to need for this guy is the Dollar Tree has these greenery branches. I guess they're just branches. I bought a pack of these for $1 and I cut a piece. That is about 6 inches long to use for right here. Okay, so I got that piece of greenery. So that's Dollar Tree. And then I bought one of these picks, berry picks. And we're going to use that for this part here. We're just going to snip off a couple of the berries and then glue gun them on. So, and this is Dollar Tree. So that's another item from Dollar Tree. I think this whole thing might be from Dollar Tree. The main buffalo check pattern comes from a Dollar Tree men's fleece scarf. Dollar Tree scarf. I mean, it's not real long and it's kind of a thin material, but it's so soft and flexible, like you can pull on it. And so that's what makes it nice for this craft. But anyway, Dollar Tree, and you could make, I don't know how many ornament balls out of this, or you could use this for other ornaments that if you want a buffalo check. I'm also thinking about making some Christmas stockings out of this, sewing some. So if I do, I'll make sure I post that online here for you guys. Okay, the other thing you're going to need is jute and ribbon of some sort, contrasting ribbon. I got the 5/8 inch glitter ribbon from Dollar Tree. Of course, I didn't get this from Dollar Tree, but Dollar Tree does have jute. So you can buy everything from Dollar Tree and sit down and do a bunch of these ornaments, okay? All right, so let's hit it. I made myself a pattern, and I'm going to tell you how to do this to cut my fabric out. The way that I did it was I measured around the ball, and then I did a practice run of how it would fold at the top on the ball so that it would keep it smooth and flat. So this is what I came up with. So I hope it works for you guys. I'm going to tell you the dimensions. So we're doing a 7.5 inch across piece, okay? 7.5 inch across, and we're leaving ourselves a 1/4 inch overlap on that. So it's 7.5 plus a 1/4 inch, and it could be on either side. Okay, so you could do 7.5, and then over here leave a 1/4 inch, and that's just to give you some overlap for when you glue it around the bulb. Okay, and then it's going to be 3¼ inches tall. Okay, now I cut out these little diagonal pieces, these little diamond or whatever you call these shapes here, to help when we roll it around the ball, it folds over really nicely, so you don't have a lot of excess material bunching up at the top or bottom of your balls. And so all I did was I kind of folded my material when I did this pattern, and then I just did snip, snip, and then in the end I just did one side, because when you open it up, then you've got the other side. So these are approximately 3/4 inches in between all of these. So if that helps you measure where to cut, do your pattern first. It will be a big help for you, I promise, okay? And then I laid it down on my scarf piece, my material, and I cut it out. Okay. I also cut a small round circle, and I did that just in case I needed, if I had a little bit of open space down on the bottom, I could just kind of glue that, and so you wouldn't be able to see. The first one that I did had a little open space, and so I might not use this, but it's just like a little, it looks like a nickel size circle, just in case. Okay, have that on hand. All right, and then you're going to need your glue gun. You'll probably need your little wire cutters to cut your greenery with, and then scissors to cut your berries off with. The other thing I want to show you how to do. Now, this is not something, I'm guessing you can maybe buy this way, but I don't know. I mean, I didn't have it on hand, so I just made it myself. I did a crocheted sort of single stitch with the jute to kind of give it a little dimension. So when I glue it on, you could see it better. Otherwise, it's so thin, you wouldn't be able to see it. So I'm going to show you quickly how I did that. And they are, let's see, how long are those? Those are about 7.5 inches long. And I left the little tails on just to help me when I glue it down. I did cut a piece for the hanger as well, and that piece measures 12 inches. Okay, I did that. I did my bow ahead of time because I'm not going to want to stop when I have my glue gun going and go, oh, let me do my bow. So I'm doing it all ahead of time. So I have it all ready, and I just can slap it on. Okay? All right, so we got our ball right here. I took the top off. it's going to be a little bit easier to handle without the top one. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to start where the crease is, and we're going to line up the material and glue it from top all the way down. So we're going to put a line of glue all the way up the ball like that. Okay, and we're stretching the fabric around as we're doing this. Okay, so I'm going to put a line of glue in there. Glue gun going again. Okay, here we go. Let's put, and it doesn't have to be very wide. It can be a really thin. You don't want a bunch of clumps of glue, so try to use as little as possible. And what I normally try to do is I put, where I really need the strength is where I put more of a dab of glue rather than a line. Okay, so take your fabric and take the one edge and line it up. Start up at the top, press it in, get it going. Whoops, let's pull it down a little tighter. I think I'm going to put a little more glue at the bottom just to give it some strength, because I'm going to be tugging on this a little bit as I go. Okay. And I might not need that little circular piece, but we'll see. All right, there you go. Now you can either do this one of two ways. You can glue this down as you go, or you can do like I'm going to do on this one, because I think this will work better. I'm going to pull it all the way around as tight as I can get it, and I'm going to connect it at the seam. So let's get that going. There we go. Gotta work fast because the glue gun, yeah, it's hot. That one there, and that one on the bottom, and then pull it till it meets. There, and there. And I'm not real concerned about getting it real tight there, because I'm going to run that jute along that seam to cover that up. So just as long as you get it in there decent enough. Okay. Already we're looking pretty cute. So then what we're going to do is we're going to just tack these down one by one and pull your fabric tight as you do it. Okay. So we're just going to take a little glue on each one of these. Pull it down. Okay, next one. Pull it down. Sorry guys if this gets out of frame. I'm trying to look at it real good so that I make sure I don't miss any spots. I know a couple of my videos I got a little bit out of frame. I apologize for that. There. Oh, it's looking really good. Gosh, this one's so much easier than my first one was, let me tell you. When you're trying to figure out a new design and you're trying to design it yourself, it takes a few trial and errors. So yeah, I did probably lose a ball by doing that, but at least I can do the next ones and they look much better than the first ones did. Okay, so we got the top all done. Okay, and I'm not real worried about that either, because we're going to be covering with our greenery and our berries and our ribbon, so you don't have to worry about it getting all the way to the edge. But if you can get it there, that's great too. I'm leaving also a little room, because when the little hanger comes down over the top of this, it's going to poke down on top of the fabric, so I want to leave a little bit of room. All right, time to get down here and do the bottom now. Here we go. Okay. Gotta work fast with the glue gun. Okay. Oh, this is so cute. Such an easy craft. It's just a little more time. It takes a little more time than those Rae Dunn ones, but it still turns out cute, I think. Okay. And that. And my gosh, I mean, $1 for the fabric. I mean, I don't know how many this will do. That scarf is pretty lengthy. So And I don't know if they have it in red buffalo check, so I only saw the black and white, but if they have it in the red buffalo check and you're into that, wow, I mean, that would be really cool too. All right, one more, guys, one more. And we are good. So if at this point, this little space down here bothers you, you can go ahead and glue this little piece on here. I'm trying to think if that will be covered up. I think that will be covered up enough that I don't need to put this on. So I'm not going to, but you can if you want to make it kind of more perfect than I'm making mine. Okay. Now, I'm going to actually pop my hanger back in at this point, because when I start gluing the trim and decorations onto this, I don't want to have to mess with this thing. It's a little flimsy, so you want to probably do it at this point, and that way you get it on there. All right, there we go. Look at that. Okay, so let me set this aside for a second because I want to show you how to do these chain stitched. If you're into crochet, this would be a piece of cake for you. What I like about what I just did was they're not all even stitches because, you know, it's handcrafted. So I did it with my finger, using my finger. And I took a piece of jute and I did like a slip knot like that. And then I just started crocheting by pushing my finger through and pulling the loose edge through and then adjusting my stitch just by pulling on the other side of the edge. And there you have chain one. And then you do it again for your next one. And you do this over and over, the same stitch all the way up to create this chain. Okay. For a crocheter, you're probably going, oh, why are you doing it by hand? But I'm telling you, I didn't feel like looking for my crochet hooks, and this just was fast and easy. It was only, what did I say this was? This was a 7.5 inch chain. So yeah, I mean, I could sit there for a couple minutes and do that. Okay, so that's how you do that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take these and attach it to the ball. So what I want to try to do is I want to go down over the seam that I created when I pulled my fabric all the way around. And I'm going to start at the top and then pull it down to the bottom and glue it tight. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to dab the glue here, attach it, and watch, because it's hot glue. Yeah, it's hot. Okay. I must be a glutton because I'm always touching the hot glue. Okay, so we're also going to do one in the middle. Okay. And we're going to pull it all the way down to the bottom. That. And pull it tight because you're stretching it all the way to the other side. Okay. So directly opposite, that's what you're doing, all the way around from one side to the other side. Okay. And then you're going to attach it. I got glue on my fingers. Okay. Then you're going to attach it up top here. And boom. You have one side done already now. Okay. And that covers up your seams. Now, when we put this going the other way, it will really cover up down below. So that's why I said I don't know if you want to or not. I'm giving you the option that you could cut a little piece to put down there, but really I think it just creates bulk. So I just kind of let that alone. All right. Oh, what happened here? You did not stay put. There we go. That's because Mama didn't push. All right. Now we're going to do the other side, going in the other direction while that dries. So we're going to start in the middle here between the two sides. Just like before, we're going to start at the top and push that down to hold it. Okay. And we're we're going to go straight down to the bottom there. I'm going to put a little glue in the middle to hold that. Right in the middle. Not a big glob, and you don't want a lot of glue sitting there. Just enough to hold it for you until you get it all the way down to the bottom. See how that covers that up pretty nicely? Okay, I'm going to put a dab of glue right in the center. Okay, and pull tight because you want it to go all the way up. Okay, there we go. Okay, and now another dab in the middle to hold that guy. Okay, and then at the top. And come on, get over there. Boom. I say boom a lot. Boom, we got that done. Okay. Now, once you feel confident, I don't want to burn my fingers. So once you feel confident that you've got it on there pretty good, there's a lot of little frays coming off of the glue gun and my jute. So now I'm going to trim off the excess jute. And I'm not going to trim it all the way down to the top of the chain because, you know, I just want to make sure that that chain doesn't come undone for any reason. I don't think it would because you got the glue there to hold it. Okay, and then trim that. And you could probably use any kind of stretchy type of fabric to do this in if you wanted to do it a different, not buffalo check. You wanted to use something else that you found at the Dollar Tree or Dollar General, go for it. I mean, ideas are limitless, you guys. Just because I'm doing it one way doesn't mean you have to do it that way. You might embellish this differently than what I'm going to do. Okay. So now I'm going to take my piece of jute that I've cut off to use as a hanger, and I'm actually going to insert this now because when I start gluing things around, I'm not going to want to mess around down there with the top of the ball. So I'm just going to put it on here and tie it off right now. So we have our little jute hanger. So this is what it looks like before we put the greenery on. All right. So I took a piece of that Dollar Tree green. You know, I added this to the Dollar Tree trees. I guess they're 18, 24 inches tall trees. They're so sparse. They're like Charlie Brown trees. So I got a package of these and I wrapped it around the trunk, kind of making it a fuller tree. So the extras that I had, I'm like, well, what can I do with those? So I thought, you know, it'd be really cute to put them on these decorations. So because I cut the ends, they're a little bit jagged, I'm going to bend just the tip, and you can actually use, I guess these are wire cutters or needle nose pliers. And no, these are wire cutters because I used it for wire. And then bend it back so it's not sharp. Okay, do the other end. It's a better look, a fuller look. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend it in half so that it wraps around. I'm going to find the front end of this, which was, I believe it's this one here. See, now I can't even find the seams. That's pretty good. And I'm just going to glue it to the back side of this ornament. So I'm going to take my glue gun. I'm just going to run some glue to the back side. Okay. Whoop. And then I'm going to pop that on. And this you might have to hold for a couple of seconds because it's pretty thick. Okay. I think it's getting there. So it'll look like this. All right. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my bow and I'm going to put that on next because I'm going to take these little white berries and I'm just going to tuck them in. So I'm going to place my bow right here on this, the top of this cord. Oh, I got a little glue there. On the top of this cord. So that's where I'm going to place some glue. Right there. Not a lot. It really doesn't take much to attach these bows. And my bow is attached. Okay. I'm going to hold it for a second. I'm going to trim off my ends right now. Let's see, I like going this way. There we go. And now it's time to place your berries. Now these things, the one thing I have to say about them, they're foamy, so you don't need a lot of glue to stick these guys down. So I'm going to actually do down between, I'm going to do 2 daubs of glue, and I'm going to work pretty darn fast like this. I'm just going to stick and then stick and hold it for a second. They're so poofy. You can hear them squeaking, sorry. Okay, and we are done. There is our ornament. These are so cute, so easy to do. Takes a little more time than the Rae Dunn ones, but you know, they still turned out pretty cute. I hope you guys try these crafts, give them a try. They're so easy, and tune in because I have more crafts coming, more tree decorations I'm going to be doing, and I want to share with you guys. So follow along, and I hope you have a great day. I'll see you next time.